So a whole bunch of people post Kanye West type beat. The way I would do it is post Kanye West college dropout type beat, because there are people searching that up. There is a bit of demand for it, and there's basically no new supply of that. And that's just one example. You can get very, like, the smaller you are, the more specific you have to get with your keyword.
Let's be honest, you're not gonna find these videos anywhere else. Why? Because I make them. So it would really help me out if you subscribe. If you've already subscribed, what also really helps is if you like the video and leave a comment. It's hard in the era of clickbait videos on YouTube and negativity in the producer community, and I appreciate your support. Thank you so much.
I was on Logic for like a year or two. Maybe the first YouTube beats might have been made in Logic, unlikely. And then I made the transition to Ableton a few years after that, like a few years after I started. And then, yeah, I'm Ableton all the way now. FL's cool, but I like Ableton a lot. It's cooler to I like how you can, the way you like pitch vocals and stuff like that. I definitely prefer Ableton's like algorithm for that.
Ableton does have a good time stretch algorithm.
Mm-hmm.
From what I can tell, Ableton users are like the Jehovah's Witnesses of producers. They're always preaching about their software, and I'm in like none of these communities, so I just kind of observe.
Yeah. What are you on? Are you on Reason?
You know, man.
No?
I'm interviewing you here. I don't want to talk about it. So when did I use Acid? When did you decide to make beats for a living full time, and then how did it? Well, let's start with that.
Yeah. So, first beat ever I made was like 2014, 2015, probably 2015. And then, I was working like a programming job that I really didn't like, because I went to school for basketball, and then I was kind of like, I've always like felt like I'm an entrepreneur. So I just kind of like ditched it. It wasn't my thing. After I quit playing basketball, there was like no reason for me to be there. So then I did that programming thing, and I was doing beats on the side. And then, I was doing the programming thing, and then I just quit. Like, I just couldn't do it. It was like a 9 to 5 in like a dark office, and like that wasn't working for me. So, yeah. So then but that was probably like 3 years where I was kind of figuring things out from my first beat. So like 2018. So I remember in October 2018, I'm like, all I do is make beats. Like, that's what I spend all my time doing. So like, I think I just have to like dive like all the way in on this, because otherwise I'm just gonna like be completely broke and waste all my time like making beats. So like, I got to figure out how to make a living off this. And then, so it was October 2018. I was like watching like a whole bunch of videos, like your videos, and like a whole bunch of like how to grow on YouTube, because I was always following like the YouTube type beats. Like, I actually like just like listening to them. Like, I've listened to that like almost as much as I listen to like regular music, which obviously it's regular music, but like just in that format. And then, so yeah, in October 2018, I started posting 3 times a day. I remember that was at first what I was going to do, because I actually posted my first YouTube beat in 2015, and it got like 35,000 views, which I have no idea why I didn't see the opportunity at that point. And then I actually got like 35,000 views. And then literally I posted a Travis Scott type beat also in that 2015 period. And like the next day, someone emailed me wanting to buy it for like $50. I was like, okay, cool. Like, I wasn't even selling it. Like, I didn't even know. And then, he PayPal'd me, I sent him the files, and then I didn't post for like a year or two. And then I'd post like one time in a month and like see like that I got like 30 views. And I was like, oh, my beats just aren't as good as they used to be, which was not the case. And then it just was consistency was my issue. So then we get to 2018. I'm like, okay, everyone says consistency. So like, I'm going to have to, like, I'm just going to try it for like, who knows how long, and just like make sure I never miss like posting. And then, so like I started three times a week. And then I think I got a little more efficient with my process and stuff like that. And then I moved to probably like 5 times, like within a month or so, because I started to see like a little bit of money, like enough to know that it could maybe be something. And then once I started to see that, then I started going like 7 days a week. And I've been pretty much doing that ever since.
So did you start a whole new YouTube channel, or did you stick with the channel that you've had since 2015?
So I stuck with the channel I've had since 2015. And because I don't think a channel's, in my opinion, I don't think a channel is ever dead. I think you can always bring a channel back unless you were doing like some weird stuff on it, like buying views or buying subs that like seems like some sketchy stuff, like to the YouTube algorithm. Like YouTube like will detect that. YouTube's super smart. So unless you're doing like weird stuff like that, I don't think a channel is ever dead. I think it's probably you're just not doing what the algorithm wants to get views and stuff like that. So yeah, so I just kept that 2015. I was like, that was a fear of mine for a few months that like the channel, like YouTube just wrote off the channel, but definitely wasn't the case. So
yeah, I know a lot of producers ask me that question. And I just have no idea. I mean, I've had the same channel since like 2005, and you can definitely revive a channel to an extent. But yeah, sometimes the algorithm is, most of the time the algorithm outsmarts me. Having said that, how long did it take for you, once you decided that you wanted to go all in, how long did it take for you to transition out of your job into making music full time?
So I was kind of crazy, and I just took a leap. Like I transitioned way before it made sense for me to transition. Like I quit my job with like no plans, no way to make money. I had a little bit saved, but not very much. And definitely wasn't making it. Probably like took me 8 months to make even like $100 in a month after I quit my job. So I'd like do like weird little like I was like umpiring and stuff for a little bit, just doing like weird little side gigs just to like pay my like cheap rent. So at that time. And then so yeah, I kind of did it the way everyone says don't do it. Is just like go for it. And I was like, I knew if I put the pressure on myself, like the only way I'm going to make money is through beats, then I'm going to go pretty hard at the beats, you know, like probably harder than someone who has a backup plan. That's just kind of how I looked at it. But yeah, little sendy on that one. But
so what was your daily routine like then, and has it changed?
Not really. The only thing that's changed is I'm more sample focused now than I used to be. So I used to be like, I'd wake up and like go get coffee and whatever. And then I would probably like sit for like 2 hours just listening to things. Like I would just like go through like no distractions, put like a little software on my computer so I can't go to YouTube because I'm always like watching way too much YouTube. And yeah, I put like the blocker on, and then I would go through just like samples for like 2 hours. And then I would find basically what I would look for is just like a fire vocal sample. And then I would take that and I would flip that any way I could. So yeah, it was mostly like searching for samples. And then I feel like that's like kind of the heart of the beat. So like that would be like priority number one. And then once I found that, I could lay the drums on it fairly quick, at least compared to finding a good melody. And so like that would just be like every single day. Like, and then like I just was very disciplined, and I still am on getting my upload. Like my single goal for the day was like to upload a beat. I don't care what happened. I wouldn't like do anything until I had that beat, and as good as beat as I could possibly make that day uploaded. And so that was my routine. Still basically is, but.
So with your beat making process, you start usually with a vocal sample, and then what, you build chords around it. What do you do to the vocal sample? What are some plugins you use?
So now it's changed a little bit, like I said. So now I usually sit at the piano for about like 2 hours, and then an hour or two, I guess it just depends on how long it takes. And so now let's try to come up with like a soulful progression. I can go either way. So it kind of alternates now. So sometimes I'll have go on the keys first and try to come up with something. Or if I find an awesome vocal sample, like that's what I did today, is I found a vocal sample first, and then I played the chords underneath it. It's easier that way because like the vocal sample is the hardest part of the beat for me. I feel like every beat, like my sound specifically, every beat kind of needs a vocal sample to like get that like soulful vibe. So yeah, so it kind of alternates, I guess.
With regards to piano, are you self-taught, and how did you get to the point where you're learning, not only learning chord progressions, but writing them yourself?
Yeah. So definitely self-taught. Never like. Oh, I mean, I don't know. Self-taught's like kind of a funny word because it's not like I just invented this stuff. I went on YouTube to find this stuff, but no formal teaching. Um, so yeah. I would like find. I would just basically go listen to my favorite rap songs, figure out what genre like it is, because there's like different genres obviously within hip hop. There's like gospel, like hip hop, like for example, like for the second half of Furthest Thing by Drake is like an amazing gospel sample. So that's like some church type stuff. And so like then I would start like finding YouTube tutorials by like church pianists and stuff like that, and then learn like their techniques and stuff like that. And then like also I'd like try to like break down like the 70s like Motown stuff. And so like the piano is going to be like specific to the genre, because like you can play a piano a million different ways. So yeah, I'm kind of just like learning, and I've only been like going hard on that since COVID started. So yeah, so not that long. So I still have a lot more to learn for sure. But yeah, that's how I've kind of forgot the question. I was going off.
It's more, I think, straightforward to look at your marketing plan and figure out a trajectory for yourself, and can come up with benchmarks for marketing or benchmarks for channel growth or benchmarks for sales. But when it comes to making good beats, that part is really difficult, especially to assess, you know, how good your beats are. What did you do to evaluate your own beats, criticize your own beats when you were, especially at your early stages, and just get better? I mean, because better could entail mixing, it could entail musicality, it could entail catchiness. How did you make better beats?
Yeah, so that's a great question, because that is huge. Like, especially in the beginning, I didn't start making progress, like as far as from a business perspective, from a numbers perspective, all that kind of stuff, until like I was really looking at my beats like objectively, like not being biased. Because in the beginning, you think everything you make is like awesome. It's horrible. It's the worst stuff you'll make in your career. And so, yeah, so you really gotta be disciplined, and just like not like get too hyped when you're making a beat, like kind of like be like, how could this beat be better? Like, and really A/B it with like classic beats, and kind of like just like listen to your beat, like bounce it out of the software, put it in iTunes or whatever, and then listen to your beat, and then go listen to like a banger like Drake type beat, or not even Drake type beat, like an actual Drake beat. And then like you'll hear the difference if you're not like over like if you're not just like too hyped on your own beat. So like you got to really be like critical of your own stuff, and you just got to compare it. Like, how does it sound mix wise? Like, how does the music sound? Like, is it like, because the music can even be simple, but like there's a good simple and there's a bad simple, and it's hard to explain. But like, does it sound too basic? Is it catchy? Like, will it hit people? Like, play it for your friends and like ask them before to be like super honest with you, and like if it's not, like tell you if it's not good. And it's not a big deal if they say it's not good. Sometimes it's like kind of hurts, but like but you just got to know that like if it's not good, you can learn new things to make it better, and you just got to keep, and it's just a cycle. You just do it over and over and over again for years, and that's how you improve. I think. Did that answer?
Yeah, I mean, it answers it as good as any, because it is really difficult to explain even how what makes a beat good. I mean, even as we're listening to our favorite beats, it's difficult to describe it other than through a feeling. You know what I mean? If we listen to it, we're like, oh, this beat just feels good. Yeah, but what feels good about it? I don't know. So for us as creators to try to bring that kind of X factor into our own process, it's not easy.
Yeah, I feel like that's a big part of the job, is like literally searching for that X factor. Like, it's not just going to pop up. It's just like you have to spend all day trying to find that feeling. Like, you're almost like discovering it, if that makes sense. Like, and you're just trying to get that. And and you'll fail a million times, and you just keep trying.
Yeah, I mean, there are some people who are just in a zone too. I think nowadays it's a lot more helpful when you have all of the, you know, VSTs and loops and samples and collaborators kind of just at the click of a button, you have access to all that.
Yeah, that's huge.
But it still doesn't make it easy. It just makes it easier.
Yeah, like yesterday I was grinding like all day to try to come up with something. I was just making trash like myself. And then a sample maker I work with, Nick Kiko, sent me in like just an awesome loop, and then I knocked it out in like 15 minutes. Like, so like that definitely saves me sometimes and definitely makes it easier from time to time.
Do you ever get beat block for an extended period of time?
Like I don't have like beat block as in I can't make beats, but I do have beat block in the sense of I don't make good beats for, and like not extended period of times, like 2 to 3 days max. And I still upload through that. I still push through that because I think that's just a better route. Even if like, I don't want to ever purposely post something that's not great quality, but like I do hold myself to a deadline like every single day. Like you have to get this beat uploaded, like no matter what. And it's never like horrible. Sometimes it's just more mid than great. It's not a lack of effort. It's just sometimes it's just not clicking. But I just keep grinding through it and keep uploading through it.
Some of the beats that you're not entirely sure of that you just upload to keep up with the deadline, do people tend to like those beats? Do people tend to feel wishy-washy about them, or does it seem to matter? I mean, you might hate the beat or you might not feel great about the beat, and the opinion of the people listening to it might be different.
Yeah, I have no idea every time I upload, like zero idea if it's going to do good or not. I have like sometimes like a feeling, but sometimes that feeling lies to you too. So like the most high beat that I posted, it's like 1.3 or 1.4 million views now. I was like, I don't know if it really works for my channel. I'm not really sure about it, but like, I do think it's like a decent beat. So I'll post it. And then it's been like my second biggest beat. So, and same thing with the Bad Things beat too. I was like, I don't know if it's too basic because it was just like a piano and a vocal sample and drums. It was literally just that. And so like I was like, I don't even know if like this will work, but I mean, it sounds good, I think. And so I just post it. Like, and then I never know. Sometimes I have feelings, like sometimes I'm like, this one's going to do at least pretty good, but I never know. Like the ones that popped to like 1 million, only one of those, I'd say the No Favors one, I was like pretty sure that was like a good beat. And then the other ones, I think they're decent, but like I never know.
Yeah, this conversation of quantity over quality is something that just kind of is always going on in the producer community. And I just kind of feel like it's almost a pointless conversation in the sense that quality is so subjective, and you know, you're holding yourself to a quantity standard. You're holding yourself to deadlines. And I think that's something hard for creatives, period, to do no matter what the art is. But I know in the producer community, there is that debate, that quantity versus quality debate, and producers will insist that you can't do both, or that if you're putting pressure on yourself to produce quantity, that takes away from the art. It sounds like in practice that's not really the case, at least for you. I'll say for me, I wouldn't say it's the case either. But would you say that sometimes quantity creates quality?
Yeah, I was literally about to say that. I think two things. I think like there's no reason you have to separate quality and quantity. Like why can't it be quantity and quality? Like, I mean, yeah, sure. If you're taking like 5 minutes on a beat and like not even putting that much, like if you're not really focused on it and you're like halfway in it, halfway out, and you just throw something quick and you like don't care if it sounds good, but you can really lock in for 2 hours and really care if it sounds good and move pretty quick and like make good decisions with your like beats and sound choices and all that kind of stuff. So like, I don't see why you can't do quality and quantity. And also I think quantity can lead to quality, like you said, because like sometimes like it takes making 10 beats that you like trying your best on 10 beats for one beat to pop. Like, it's almost like you almost have to do that. Like you can't just like, yeah, I just feel like that would be really difficult to like post once in a while and just like Like, even if you spend a lot of time, more time at a certain point definitely doesn't make the beat better. Like, it's like the core idea and the like foundation of the beat, like the meat of it, that's important. And like, no matter what effects, like how many transitions you put in the beat and like all that kind of stuff, like at a certain point, it's not going to change the way the beat makes people feel. So it's either got the feeling or it doesn't. And it's best to like do your absolute best on that one, go as hard as you can, stay focused while you're making it. And then just move on after you do that. Cause you can't add anything and then just go with another idea.
You said something cool and then I forgot. I was gonna pick up on it. But here's a question from the chat. Please mixing tips. Yes, Dylan, please mixing tips. What have you learned throughout your journey that you wish you had known when you started with regard to mixing?
I mean, I guess you kind of just have to go through it a little bit, but I think with mixing, I will say this. I do think mixing is important because you do want a high quality product, but I've heard some questionable mixes with quite a bit of views on beats, like some beats with a lot of views. So I think like it's that core idea of like the initial like idea of what really gets people. But so like mixing, I think sound selection is more important, like much more important than like putting effects on after. Like there are some things that like filters or something like that like make a big difference, but like, and like I'd say like 90% of my beats, I don't EQ my kick or my snare or my hi-hats. Like I just pick the ones that sound right for the beat. Like I'll spend more time picking the right hi-hat and the right kick and the right snare versus trying to throw a kick in there and then trying to make it the right kick afterwards. I just don't think it works that way. So yeah. And then, volume levels, like you can get like, it's all about volume levels, in my opinion. So it's like sound selection, then volume levels are like the two major things. So like, you definitely want your drums like sitting on top of the melody and the music, for hip hop. And then, yeah. And then there's a plugin I use. It's called Isotope Tonal Balance. And I throw that on the master. And that's going to tell you, it's got all these meters for like the low end, like the like low, mid, and then high. And it like all the meters go up and down and you can see like how level your beat is. And that's going to be all volume levels. Like you need more bass, you turn up your bass. You need more high end, you turn up your hi-hats, or if you have like strings in the music or whatever, you can turn that up to get it more balanced. But I always run my beats through that Isotope Tonal Balance plugin. And it just like gives you like, it just shows you how well balanced your beat is. And so if a beat, like some people think like, especially in the beginning, that like if you want your drums to hit hard, you got to like turn them all the way up. Sometimes it's just like being well balanced, like across the board makes everything sound better. Like, I don't know how to explain it, but, so yeah, I use that plugin just to really like, and it's like, it's like another way to be like completely unbiased. Like I might think it sounds good, but that plugin's telling me something different. And so like, then I'll either give my ears a break and then come back and like rebalance it or something like that. But, yeah. And then on the master, I just throw, T-Rax soft clipper and then like T-Rax brick wall limiter.
All right, you're giving away all the secrets. Yeah, and shout out to Isotope. I gave away with a partnership with them a few copies of Ozone 9, which I don't even have. It's just a nice ass plugin. Yeah. So let's switch gears and congratulations on hitting 100,000 YouTube subscribers. That just happened this month, right?
Yeah, less than a week ago. It might have been. I think it was Sunday. So yeah, yeah, pretty pumped about that. Oh, I have a question for you. How long did it take after you hit 100,000 subs to get that notification from YouTube that you can get your plaque?
I never got the notification. Who was I talking to about this? Oh man. We had this conversation here and I completely I'm spacing on who it was, who I was talking to about this, but yeah, he had hit 100. I remember the conversation. I just don't remember who I had it with. He had the same thing, the same issue with me. Not an issue with me. He had the same issue that I had with the YouTube plaque, in the sense that he, I think, had hit 100,000 subscribers and was sitting on 100,000 for like a year, and he just never got the notification. And I'm assuming this is happening a lot, so the YouTube staff probably aren't actually monitoring it. What I ended up doing was giving it a couple. It wasn't Curtis King, but shout out to him. I was looking. I was It was Omito. It was Omito. Yeah, yep, Omito from Canada. I waited a couple weeks and I was super nervous. I was like, man, they found something. There was something wrong with my channel. I did something. So like someone ordered me fake followers or fake subscribers just to mess with me. And finally, like at 1 a.m, I contacted creator support because there's a live chat. And I talked to a very friendly gentleman who, for whatever reason, was up at 1 a.m. And he, within 3 minutes, had verified that my subscribers were legitimate, and within a week I had the plaque. So if you don't hear from them in a couple of weeks, I would say definitely,
Cool. Yeah, I'll probably hit them up after that or after this, just if it takes 3 minutes. Is that in the analytics, like where you find the creator support thing?
It's in the creator studio something or other.
Okay.
There's just some kind of creator. Yeah. Yeah, YouTube is a maze sometimes. It really is. But, regardless, congratulations. It is nice to have another plaque. What were some techniques that you used to increase your YouTube subscriber count other than just uploading videos every single day?
Yeah, so there's definitely a lot more to it than just like consistency, because everyone says consistency. And like, I think if you posted a beat every single day, but you're all over the place and you're inconsistent with your brand and your sound, I don't think you're going to make any traction. So, and like, you got to think about like, how can I be discoverable? Like, cause like from the beginning, like how is someone going to find you if you have like no algorithm, like poll or whatever? Like it's pretty difficult. And I think a lot of people like give up in that period. I think there's 2 ways to kind of do it. What I've seen recently, and I haven't done this myself, but I'm just like watching Pele 1080, like how his channel's blown up recently. He kind of was watching what was going on, and he was just like incredibly consistent with the Drake type beats, like so consistent with that keyword. So like, I think right now that might be the best way to go, is just like the same keyword every single day for like 4 or 5 months. Like, and like for some reason people start getting traction. I don't even know how to explain it, but like those Drake type beats just start popping up, which doesn't make any sense to me right now, but obviously that's the case. So I'm still trying to understand how that all works. But but the way I did it and the way that I think will work forever is like, so you got to think about, how does someone find your stuff when you have no subscribers? So what I was doing is like, I was getting very specific with my keywords. Like, so a whole bunch of people post Kanye West type beat. The way I would do it is post Kanye West college dropout type beat, because there are people searching that up. There is a bit of demand for it, and there's basically no new supply of that. And that's just one example. You can get very, like, the smaller you are, the more specific you have to get with your keywords. At least this is how it worked for me in 2018, 2019. And so, yeah, the smaller you are. So like, I would do like Drake So Far Gone type beat, because like there are people searching that up and there's basically no one posting that. So you just gotta you gotta find keywords that have search traffic but no supply, basically. So like supply and demand, like high demand, low supply. And if you can find that and you can keep like hammering those out like over a year, but then you have to have the plan of like the big picture of like, where do you go eventually? Because like, if you're all over the place, like I was doing like some alternative type beats, like there's this artist, I don't know if you've heard about him or not, but he was big in like 2014. His name was Skizzy Mars. And so I dominated that keyword because no one's making those type beats. But it's like tricky because like, where's my long-term plan is to do like Drake, J. Cole, Kanye, soulful type stuff. So like, it didn't really transition into my long-term plan. So the college dropout type beats were much better for that, because like that following is going to like transition into the like following when I can post like just plain Drake type beats and get views on it and stuff like that. So, so I would like, that's the very hard thing about just starting. And that's what you have to spend almost all your time thinking about. You have to work backwards from the keyword that you want to target and make a beat for that. And that's kind of how you do it, as opposed to just making whatever you like and just throwing it out.
So like you went from Kanye college dropout type beat with the goal of eventually just dominating the Kanye type beat keyword, like Drake So Far Gone type beat with the eventual goal of hitting Drake type beat. Just in general.
Yeah, and like I know those audiences. A person who likes a soulful Kanye type beat is also gonna like a soulful Drake type beat. Probably not like maybe like a hard Drake type beat, but like so once you have a subscriber base, like I can please my subscriber base with both those types of beats, you know. So like it would work, and then like I believe YouTube tests out your videos against your subscribers, and if it does really well with that with your subscribers, it'll push it out to more people. And so like, yeah, so that way I could kind of like please my subscribers, send good signs to YouTube. YouTube will push my videos to more people. I'll attract the right people that are interested in these types of beats. Then I'll get more subscribers, and, you know, it just keeps going like that.
This is a good question. It's actually one that I had written down anyway. You put freestyle words in your YouTube videos. When did that start? How'd you come up with that idea? And how has it been working for you? And then River Beats wants to know, I guess, how you do it. You know, how are you making your videos?
Yeah. First thing, shout out to River Beats. Been working with him for a long time. And so the reason I can't take credit for coming up with that. I think Gami or something did that a while back. I saw that on another video. But so the reason I do that, one is because like the audience likes it. Like people like to rap to the beats. And then another reason is I was watching like a Mr. Beast video on how like he was like doing a lecture or something, like how to grow on YouTube and stuff like that. And he was talking about like what matters, audience retention and like click-through rate. So so I think I was thinking, okay, as a producer, like I don't have my personality on like camera, which I actually am going to do. I have a tutorial channel, but like it's not like I can do like exciting videos to keep my audience retention up. Like it's all going to be within the beat. So like what is a way to get people more engaged and stay on my videos longer? Because that's another good sign for YouTube is like if people are watching your beats for longer, you're more likely to get pushed in the algorithm. So so ways to do that is like don't switch or like have like transitions in your beats, like build up, like take the energy up, bring the energy down, like kind of keep like momentum going in the beat. Don't let it die. But then freestyle words. It's like if a rapper is rapping on the beat the whole time, it's gonna get they're gonna watch the whole video. So it's more likely to get your audience retention up, more likely to push your video, more likely to grow your channel. And also on this, I think I have a theory. I don't know if it's actually true, but it might help with sales because like if you inspire a flow on a beat, like if they really catch a flow and they're freestyling on it, like maybe they'll write a song to it and maybe they'll purchase a lease. So that's the reason for the freestyle words.
And how did you learn to make videos? Did you have a background in videos, or does someone else do that?
Just YouTube as well. Just YouTube, how to make a video. Literally the freestyle words. I use a Photoshop and Premiere, and I make like the image for the beat, and then I literally just like put a freestyle word and I export like 30 different images, and I just line them up in the beat like every like 15 seconds, 10 seconds or whatever in Adobe Premiere. And then so I do that, and then I and then I put like YouTube, like this vintage VHS effect, how to do that in Premiere. And then I just like followed the instructions and did it. So, and then that's just a template I save every time. And I just do that over and over.
Yeah. Even with the template, that's tedious because you're exporting, 30 different JPEGs or whatever. And then, and then honestly, I was looking at your videos and like, I'm thinking, how would I do that if I wanted to steal this idea from Dylan? And I was thinking I'd probably just do that because I know how to use Photoshop better than I know how to use, these more advanced video editing tools. But I was like, no, there's got to be an easier way. There's no way Dylan is doing that. That's way too much. Okay.
I think, it's just like
what is your?
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
What's your social life like with this? Importing 30 JPEGs every day. Is there because I don't have one. I'm just gonna come right out and say it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Maybe I go out once a week or something. I don't. Maybe every other week. It just depends. During the week, I'm pretty locked in. I mean, the only thing I'll do, I'll go to the gym. I'll go play basketball for like an hour, like once or twice a week. But I mean, I like the beat, so like, I just want to keep grinding. I want to keep growing. I want to keep getting better at my samples, all that kind of stuff. So, I mean, yeah. I mean, social life probably less than average. Probably a lot less than average. But I don't know. I'm cool with it. So
yeah, and Beats won't cough on you and give you COVID. Oh, so over the last year, so. Did you really?
Yeah, it was for me. Luckily, it wasn't a big deal. So, but I still can't smell. But anyways.
Oh, can you taste still now? Or is that?
Yeah, I can taste fine. But
okay.
Yeah, no smell. But yeah.
I guess that can be good and bad, you know, especially if you're on the farm. That's probably a good thing, right?
I know. Yeah, I was thinking 80% of smells seem like they're not good from other people's reactions at this point. So, yeah.
So yeah, I could do a lot if I didn't smell. Over the last year, you had 5 beats go viral on YouTube and either reach or exceed 1 million views, and you've also had about 50 more go around or beyond the 250,000 view mark. Do you monitor those beats? And if you had to say what some common thread was between all of those highly successful beats, what would that be?
I would almost say like typically, I don't know. Like, I mean, they all have vocal samples, but like every beat I make has a vocal sample. Like, I mean, this isn't very helpful to anyone, but they're just like good vocal samples. Like, I don't know how to explain it, but it just taken so many shots that eventually some of them are good. Like, so like, if I knew how to make that every time, I would make that every time. Like, the only way I can get more of those, it seems like, is just keep cranking stuff out and like you try to with everyone, and you don't get discouraged when it doesn't blow up, and you just go right back at it the next day. So like, you just got to have an attitude and just keep going at it. I don't know. There's no like formula or shortcut or like easy answer for that one. I wish there was.
Do they have, and I didn't write this down in my notes and I should have, did they have similar SEO optimization, all of them? Did they have similar keywords? Were the titles special?
No, some of them are weird. Some of the keywords are weird. Like I have a Dreamville, Revenge of the Dreamers 3 or whatever that last album was, like type beat that got either 1 million or close to. It's like the yellow one with the horrible thumbnail. So even a horrible thumbnail can get views. So I mean, yeah, it's just the beat usually. Like, it seems like it's all in the music. Like, it's yeah, I don't know. Those seem to be the beats, especially like if I show people in person, those are the beats that like they're like, oh, that one's cool. So it's just like it goes in the like, I don't know. As far as like, you got to have like the right search engine optimization. You can't have like a no-name artist type beat. It's got to be like Drake or J. Cole, or even like there's smaller ones that you could still go big with. But yeah, I don't know. Even the keywords are all over the place. Like Rick, I think I've got some Rick Ross ones. I got like J. Cole ones. I got Drake, Revenge of the Dreamers, Dreamville type. Like, they're all like, those are like for the weekend. Like, those are like, yeah, if we look at them, like, there's almost no consistency in the top 5. Like, none of them are the same, except for 2 Dreamville ones, which is actually really strange to me.
Yeah, these 2, right? And so this is your horrible thumbnail, you said?
Yeah, like, you can't even tell it's J. Cole. It's just like, hardly. I don't know.
Because
maybe the yellow is eye grabbing. I don't know.
Black and yellow. That's one of the few things I remember from high school, that black and yellow is a popular combination in advertising because psychologically it just demands a lot of attention. Maybe that's part of it. I don't know. But then this is black and white. So it is interesting to see that, well, all of your thumbnails are pretty much the same. There is some variation. Like, this one doesn't have the paper texture, for example. This, and this one is completely washed out, and this one is black and white. But there is visual consistency throughout all of them. Even if there are some outliers, they still have something in common with the others.
Yeah. I think a big thing is like the audience retention, like on all those ones. I mean, I know from the back end, it's like pretty high. It's like 2 minutes plus for most of those. So like that seems to be the big thing that's consistent with like whether it blows up or whatever.
Here's a question. Do you use TubeBuddy or vidIQ or any keyword tool?
So no, I don't do that anymore. I did in the beginning. The big tool I use, and this goes back to like that finding specific keywords, was an app called Morning Fame, or a keyword tool called Morning Fame. And what you can do is you can search like the keyword, like, and it'll tell you, show you the top 20 search results for that keyword. And then it'll show you like it'll give you ratings on how much of a shot your channel has to rank on those. Like, for example, like college dropout type beat, even when my channel is small, it gave me like a high rating for my ability to rank on that one. And so like I would spend a lot of time searching keywords to figure out what type of beat to make and then work backwards from that and make those so I could land those keywords.
Got it. So who inspired you, or what inspired you to upload a beat every single day? Because that's your current schedule, it looks like, right? Every single day on BeatStars and YouTube.
Yeah, that's the most I feel like I can do at a high level. Maybe some days I could get 2. But I don't know, if I could upload 5 high level beats in a day, I would do it. I don't think it'd be too much. Like you can't, if it's high level, I think people get in trouble because if you start posting 5 times a day, it starts to be not high level. So I don't know. I just try to max out what I can do.
Where else do you upload your beats, or do you just stick to BeatStars and YouTube?
Just BeatStars and YouTube. Do you know of any other places that are effective?
I've been uploading on Audio Mac, for example. There are just a lot of different options. I know some people upload to what is it called? It's an app that I don't have. It's some kind of app where people can record to snippets of your beat on their phone, and and someone said RapChat. I do upload to RapChat too, but I don't use. That's not what I'm talking about.
Do you make sales from any of those avenues?
Yeah, I have. Yeah, maybe Voicey is. Yeah, and I don't have it. And then TikTok, I've been doing that now, and I've had some people, because people are duetting the beats, and so if they, like you said, if you can inspire some kind of cadence or some kind of verse or a hook or anything from somebody, especially if they're able to record it instantly on their phone, then that will get them to fall in love with the beat. So I think that might be the future. Especially since YouTube doesn't give that option. So I don't think YouTube's ever going to die, but I think some of these other platforms might start emerging as contenders for YouTube.
Mm-hmm. I think BeatStars in the future will be, at least is the way I see it right now. Because I probably get, 30% of my sales from BeatStars, and in the beginning it was definitely lower than that. So I think that's growing, which is great. I love BeatStars, so.
Yeah, I think it already is like that. I think BeatStars is becoming the platform since.
Mm-hmm. I can kind of tell on my pro page, so every pro page sale is most likely going to be a YouTube sale for me, I think, because that's where I take them. So I feel like I still get like 60, 70%, except when my views dip, because I think there's another question for you. I think views dip in the summer. I think they do, but I don't know, because that's been a trend the last 2 summers for me now. Not like major, like I'm still fine, but I don't know, maybe a 20, 30% dip in views over the summer, and that comes back in September. Yeah, I think I get like 60 to 70% of my sales on my pro page, which would mean 60% of my traffic comes from YouTube, and then 30% or so comes from BeatStars, the BeatStars marketplace.
Yeah, things have been weird because I think with COVID last year, sales were more consistent because people weren't traveling in the summer, and we all had a lot of pent up energy, and we wanted an outlet for that. And for a lot of people, that was music. So, it'll be interesting to see what happens this summer. And I wonder if venues opening up and artists having more opportunity to perform will actually increase beat sales. I guess we'll see.
Yeah, I think COVID was a positive for the beat selling industry, for sure. Especially,
it was a negative for humanity, positive for beat makers.
Yeah, not that I would root for it, but there were industries that performed just in like the new economy, like of what it made. Yeah.
So let's talk advertising. I think you use Google Ads.
I don't really advertise. I haven't had much success, but that was back in the day, like when my beats weren't very good. I still think there's room to improve on them, of course, but I think they have improved since then. So I would advertise like really bad beats, so it didn't work that good for me. So I'd be curious to like what would happen if I advertised a good beat. Like I wonder what sales would be like, because I do some Instagram advertising nowadays for samples, but and that's been effective. But I don't run YouTube ads. I in my experience so far, it's been better. I've had better results from like working, like trying to leverage the algorithm to get views than at paid advertising. That's just my experience.
Okay, so basically that's not a crucial part of your overall strategy then, paid ads.
Not on YouTube. For Instagram, it is.
For Instagram, you found it effective.
For sample packs that I have, I have a sample pack account where I just post my sample packs and then I sell them that way, and that's been effective. Yeah.
Yeah. What? I was gonna ask you if you've had any major placements, but it looks like as I'm asking that question, I just go on your Instagram and I'm reminded that you were on the last Joyner Lucas album, and that was a track with Rick Ross, right?
Yeah, so I had 2 on there. I had Legend with Rick Ross, which is great because that was an original sample made by me, so that was really easy to clear and everything. And then a splice vocal, which was awesome. And then the other one was The Problem. I did on that one with I did that. So I used a Came One sample, and then I sent the files to Joyner, and then because he hit me up on Instagram, and then I sent the files to Joyner, and then Joyner sent it to Boy Wanda, and Boy Wanda swapped out some of the drums, kept like some of my fills and stuff like that, but then Boy Wanda did some drums, and then so there's like 3 producers on that one.
Yeah, I was going to ask about that. So how did that even happen? How did Joyner Lucas get your beat?
So I'm pretty confident Joyner Lucas goes on YouTube quite a bit for type beats, because I've heard about a couple different people that have been contacted by him. And if you go on Instagram, you can see, and if you go through his following, there's definitely a bunch of YouTube producers in there who he follows. So I would imagine, and he just found it on YouTube and he DM'd me the link and he just said available ? And then I was like, yeah. He's like, any samples? No samples. And then we talked for a little, and then we talked a little bit of logistics, and he told me where to send the files, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, that's how that went down. And then he DM'd me one day. And he's like, I just hit him up. I was like, hey, how's the writing going? Because he said he was writing to it. And then he sent me back like a preview. He said, don't tell anyone this. And then it was like the Rick Ross vocals, and it had the Maybach music tag, and I was pretty pumped about that. So that was sick.
So it was a beat that was already out on your YouTube channel.
Correct. I think it had it wasn't crazy big, but it had at the time, I don't know, 17 or 20,000 views. But it was trending upwards. It had a good audience retention, and it was going good. So that was the Legend one. And then he found that one, and then he went through my page and he found The Problem, which was, I think it was a Rick Ross times Drake type beat called Numbers or something like that. So yeah, that's how I found him.
And you deleted those beats from your channel?
Yeah, I took them down. Which, that's another thing. I think that sends bad signs to the algorithm. Like, once you start deleting videos, it seems like your views kind of dip for a little bit. Like, and then if you don't do it for a while, they come back. I don't know. I've heard that a couple times. There's no proof of that, but it seems to be a pattern. So I don't.
Did that happen to you?
It happened to me in a phase where I was like really self-conscious about the beats, and this was probably over a year ago. Like if it didn't get so many likes in the first hour or whatever, I would delete it. I was like, oh, I can do better than this. But that was a bad idea. I don't do that anymore. And I think that definitely negatively affected my channel at the time. And then I brought it back.
Had any of those beats been leased a lot of times before they were purchased by Joyner Lucas and his label?
I mean, there has been leases. And to be honest, I don't know entirely how that works. But yeah, not a ton though. He got those ones pretty early. So there was probably only a handful. It wasn't like the Bad Things one or like No Favors or something like that has who knows how many leases, like thousands maybe. So yeah, I don't think it hasn't been an issue. So and it's been since October that happened. So seems to be all right. I don't fully know. Do you know how that's handled or the proper way to handle that? I still don't. That's why I almost never sell exclusives, because I don't like those types of situations. But sometimes when you have an opportunity.
Yeah, I don't like selling exclusives either. And that, that's a big part of it. But I mean, legally, they would have, rights to whatever the terms of the lease would be. However, as we know, in practice, knowing how the music business is supposed to run and knowing what intellectual property laws say on paper doesn't really help that much in practice. For example, if you download a royalty-free sample and someone else uses it on their monetized YouTube channel, you might get a copyright claim against your video, even though legally that's not right. So yeah, it's just a big mess. I was going to ask, so in spite of getting these major placements, it seems like you're still pursuing your online beat leasing business more than music industry placements.
Yeah, I think as far as the business goes, I mean, I like the online business. I think it's more consistent. You get paid when you're supposed to get paid. Like you get paid immediately. Unlike the industry stuff, like who knows when you get paid for that. It'd be tough to have bills and really be counting on like when this manager is going to pay you, if he even texts you back, like all that kind of stuff. So, and I also think that like through a handful of different avenues, like there's some real money to be made online. Like I really do think this is going to sound crazy. I think I haven't done this, but I do think there's like, you could make $100,000 a month on selling beats online, or like a combination of things. You can't do it on YouTube. But like, I mean, look at Illmind. I know he has major label stuff and like a crazy brand, but I mean, he posted his Instagram numbers one time. He posted his Shopify numbers one time on Instagram, and through his sample packs, he did like, I don't know, like 1.7 million. And he said like 400,000 of that was ad spend. So, I mean, there's like real money to be made out here. So I think like, yeah, you just got to continue to build your brand. And that's why I'm really going to get on like the side of my brand that's like kind of me in front of the camera and like filming me making beats and stuff like that on a separate channel. I want to do that as well as the type beats. I've been doing that, but I haven't posted a video in about a month. So just because my computer's horrible at editing, so I'm going to get a new computer. But yeah, I think that like I'm not even close to the ceiling on what you can do online. So I think until I get there, until I hit a ceiling, and I don't see any reason why you can't do a little bit of industry and a little bit of online beat selling. I mean, why can't you send your samples to major producers? Like, why can't you DM them on Instagram and post those beats to YouTube? It's your intellectual property. So yeah, they might get upset at a certain point, but like if that happens, you're on a good path, and then maybe you can go more exclusive if things really start rolling that way.
Well, okay, I'm already a minute beyond time, and I have more questions. We'll just have to schedule a part two. This is how I lock people into follow-up interviews.